the secret world of Russian prison tattoos. Here, everyone is marked, and each drop of ink has a meaning.
This is a thief. That's what the spiral crawling up on the right side means.
These symbols are a language of their own.
6-point stars. Only very high-ranked people can get this tattoo.
Each body tells a unique story of time served and crimes committed.
She started yelling, "Don't kill me, I'll give you everything." We just simply wanted to punish her.
Throughout history, those shunned by society have sought unity, creating a language of allegiance and rank through the ink embedded in their skin. Moscow, Europe's largest city. Criminal activity here is rampant. Russia ranks second only to the US in the number of prisoners per capita.
Historically, pretty much everyone knows someone who's been in prison, or they've been in prison themselves. You've got to remember that in the 50s, 60s, if you stole a cabbage or some corn, you might get sent to prison for 5 or 10 years.
Prisons are known here as the Zone. Notoriously overcrowded, they're far more vicious and deadly than those in America. Here, death truly is around every corner.
It was very hard to be in prison since all of the prisons and cells were packed, literally. People took turns to sleep in shifts, and there were more than 100 people in the cell.
These prisons are controlled by a notorious gang known as the Vorzaka, or Thieves in Law.
Thieves in Law came about with the start of the Gulag system, and it was a way of thieves working together so that they kind of got the best out of that system for themselves.
The Thieves in Law sit at the top of a complex hierarchy.
They have a whole setup where they're the top of the pyramid, and the rest of the pyramid kind of works around them.
The bottom of the hierarchy is where the weakest prisoners, known as the downcasts, can be found.
Once a prisoner is branded or lowered, then it's almost impossible for them to move out of that caste. They would even have specific cutlery, specific chairs that they'd sit on. They live a completely separate life from the other prisoners.
The Thieves in Law maintain control through an intricate language of tattoos. Stars, epaulets, cathedrals, eyes, skulls. All communicate rankings silently.
It's very important for a convict to have these tattoos on his body because they show his status within the prison system. The whole tattooed body is referred to as a top coat and tails. If you don't have any tattoos on your body, the criminal fraternity consider you worthless.
The object of this system is to convey power, but before a prisoner can ink his body, he must prove himself.
Во-первых, это статус.
First of all, it's status.
Нужно поставить себя так.
You have to present yourself so that others notice you.
Это смерть.
This is
Я
death.
такой убиваю.
I kill with the left hand, and I forgive with the right hand.
Roman Vladimirovich wears the marks of the Thieves in Law. Marks he had to fight hard to get. Roman was in jail by the time he was 20. He never backed down from a fight, no matter the odds.
Я один был.
Once I was alone and there were 13 of them.
Шатали меня, да,
They beat the
базарами.
out of me, that's for sure. But I did send 4 of them into the intensive care. What else can I say about that? Nothing.
His first crime, selling weapons illegally.
Я хотел продать.
I wanted to sell grenades, RDG-5. These are military grenades.
И у меня был
And I also had a gun.
ПМ. И вот кто-то из
And well, somebody, I'm not gonna say, they ratted on me.
When he was sent to prison, Roman immediately attacked a prisoner who was marked with one of the most powerful thieves' tattoos.
In prison, only the strongest survives.
По этапу я человеку нож.
Once, I wounded this guy with a knife in his leg because he was trying to show off, so to speak.
Ё-моё, там, то есть, ну, вот, как-то вот так вот.
The gang said to me, come over here, we need to talk.
Ну и встал, он мне говорит, встань.
And so I got up when he told me to get up. I consider myself a real tough guy. And this guy that I upset, he just slapped my face. And he had stars on his knees, these kind of stars.
No tattoo is more important than the thieves' star. Depending on the location on the body, the stars convey a prisoner's status. When worn on the knees, the stars are a sign of a prisoner who commands respect.
Their meaning is, I will never get on my knees in front of anybody.
Although they might make you a target for the authorities, they showed the other criminals that you weren't afraid of the authorities, and showing that, you know, you've got bravado and you're a person of strength.
Stars on the chest mark an even higher rank. Only the most respected can wear the thieves' stars here.
Можно я покажу?
Can I show them?
Roman earned his stars with just 6 months left on his sentence when a guard confronted him in his cell.
Ты сказал, ну что, Роман?
He entered and he said, so, Roman, soon you will be released. And I said, yes.
Он говорит, ну как же, с нечистой.
And he said, how? With your dirty conscience. And he did not have time to finish his sentence.
Ну, я ударил.
I simply hit him from the right or the left, I don't remember. Bottom line, I broke his jaw. He was taken out on a stretcher. I was put in solitary. I was beaten for 12 days and nights.
Roman wears the scars with pride.
У меня вот
I have 9 stab wounds.
здесь 3.
3 here, 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 3 here, 2 here.
Эти вот левый.
My
левый,
left
правый.
hand has been broken in many places. My right hand has been broken too, but not as bad.
Roman paid severely for his confrontation with the prison guard.
I was all black and blue. I could barely walk. These guys were almost carrying me.
Taking on the guard earned him respect,
Ну, за это
He got what he deserved.
and Roman got his stars. The penalty for wearing stars that are not approved by the thieves-in-law can be severe.
Если я заеду с воли в тюрьму,
If it's my first time in prison, and I have thief stars, and I've never done time, and I have those stars, they'll just kill me.
означает, как вы знаете,
This sign, as you know, is the sign of the devil, the satanic number 666.
Nikolai Denisov spent more than a decade in prison. His first sentence was for stealing food.
когда я
When I went to jail for the first time, I went there because I stole government property. We stole 2 sacks of cabbage from a collective farm field. For that, I was given a year.
Petty thievery was just the beginning for Nikolai. His body tells the story of a much darker criminal past.
сделать себе вот
I made these marks on myself.
нет.
An unthinkable murder.
We dragged her into the kitchen. She started yelling, don't kill me, I'll give you everything.
Nikolai is now ready to tell his story for the first time.
Но в тот момент, когда
At that moment, when we broke into the apartment, this devilish anger awakened inside of me.
То есть я
I
увидел,
just simply saw a dead body.
Marked is decoding Russian criminal tattoos. Complex images of rank, religion, and rebellion. The practice began in the 19th century.
In 1846, they branded criminals with the word cat, which is short for katoznik, which means hard labor criminal. That branding across the face told everyone what that person had been. And since that date, the word cat has come to mean like a scoundrel, someone who has no morals, for whom nothing is sacred.
Over time, convicts embraced these images.
The original brandings were viewed as a kind of caste marking by the criminals. So in a kind of perverse sense, they became proud of those markings.
In the 1900s, prisoners began to mark themselves. Portraits of Soviet leaders Stalin and Lenin were among the most common early tattoos.
Criminals believed that if they tattooed images of Stalin and Lenin on their chest, this would protect them from the firing squad, because the authorities wouldn't shoot at any images of their leaders. This really wasn't the case, because generally they just get shot in the back of the head.
With the rise of the notorious prison gang known as the Thieves-in-Law, tattoos became more important and more complex.
These criminals really are illustrated men, and the images tell the complete life story of their criminal activities on their body.
Russian prison guard Danzig Baldaev secretly recorded and decoded prison tattoos for more than 3 decades.
At one stage, the KGB found out about him, but they supported his work because they realized the value of knowing what a criminal had done by being able to read the tattoos on his body.
The guard's images were collected into a 3-volume encyclopedia that serves as the most valuable tool for deciphering criminal tattoos.
It's an incredible job of allowing us an insight into being able to read those images.
At the Church of St. Nicholas outside Moscow, Father Alexander watches over former convicts.
Люди, которые приходят, освобождаются на...
People who are released into the world, no one wants to deal with them for who they are. This problem, of course, exists everywhere in the world.
The criminals who live here illustrate the history of the Russian penal system.
Вот Николай, вот Сергей.
Here is Nikolai and Sergei.
Здесь находится...
They've been here for about half a year. Sergei committed 4 murders. He was in prison for a very long time, 30 years.
Like many former prisoners, he is reluctant to show his tattoos.
I'm not going to take my clothes off. I'll only show you what's on my shoulders and my back.
Okay, I'm speechless. Don't get any more. You understand me, right? What else do you have there?
A demon.
A demon? This is horrible. It's scary to look at. That's why all your deeds in the past were devilish. Are you repenting?
I do, Father.
Thank God. Kiss the cross.
While Sergei has just a few tattoos, his roommate is a walking catalog of criminal ink. Nikolai Bogatiev is a career criminal. At 52, his body tells the story of his life outside the law.
It's very important for a convict to have these tattoos on his body because they show his status within the prison system.
Death to cops. That's from a bullet injury. And here I have, if you don't do right, they won't do you wrong.
Nikolai's ink speaks volumes. Epaulets are used to signal rank within the Thieves-in-Law. Captains, lieutenants, and colonels.
The epaulet, that indicates that I'm a bandit. Everyone tattoos according to his place in the prison society. That's teeth paired at the Soviet Union.
Snarling tigers, leopards, or wolves, known as oskals, the Russian word for big grin. These images express hostility toward the authorities. Nikolai's disdain for authority is clearly inscribed across his chest.
I'm a slave to fate, but no lackey to the law.
And on his back.
I cannot step to either side. The law has taken aim at the back of my head.
Bodies are often adorned with personal inscriptions. I live in sin. I'll repent when I die. Hurry up and live. Keep love.
That's hurry up and live.
The most telling is the ink on Nikolai's shoulder.
Well, this is a thief. That's what a spider crawling up on the right side means. When the spider is climbing down, that means I'm done with the criminal life. When it's climbing up, it means I'm not done robbing. It's going up. But I'm already an old man. It ought to be turned around.
Nikolai is living a clean life, but the tattoo on his back records his past offenses.
Each dome on the cathedral is a term that he spent in prison.
On Nikolai's back, 6 church domes. For the 6 sentences he served. The cathedral, or Kremlin, is one of the most iconic inked images.
The most interesting ones are the ones that are on the legs or the hand. And then if that hand has a manacle on it, it means the terms were over 5 years. Those to me are a weird combination of images.
The cathedral tattoos. Religious iconography hiding the sinister nature of hardened criminals behind breathtaking works of art.
These people never worked with professional tattoo machines. They always worked with homemade ones. I think that's an incredible skill.
Karin Vartanov is a former drug addict. While doing time for robbery, he immersed himself in the rebellious images of the thieves.
The design was more sophisticated and beautiful because there were prison tattoo artists there, and those guys were making some amazing drawings.
His criminal career started early.
The first time I was detained, I was 6 years old. I had a slingshot in my hands, and I shot at the cops. I was aiming at the cops' asses, so they caught me and took me to the precinct.
His fascination with ink began soon after.
I made my first tattoo when I was 14 at school, during my classes. It was done with an ordinary sewing needle, which I borrowed from my mom along with some thread and ink. You take a needle, wind the thread around the tip, soak it in the ink, and prick the skin. My first tattoos were very simple. A letter A, which stands for anarchy. Here are the tattoos I made when I was in school. Here is the anarchy tattoo. Well, you don't have much sense when you're 14.
Karin's addiction eventually led to a savage beating from the Russian police.
There was a car standing here, and I broke its window and took the radio out of it. When I was taking it out, I saw out of the corner of my eye flashing lights. I was afraid and thought, this is it. You've done it now. There was a girl with me, my accomplice. We ran up to the entrance, and we were caught by the agents. And here